Unless you are prepared to be involved, it will not happen. I remember when Ronald Reagan was running for president. And in every community in South Dakota, there were people here saying, you got to be involved. You got to be involved at the grassroots level because there's a whole lot of people like you, a silent majority, a true silent majority that truly understands how bad things are getting. Ronald Reagan, and we call them Reaganisms, remember that part? Where he said that a recession was when your neighbor lost their job and a depression was when you lost yours. And at that point, if I could add, I think that recovery is when President Obama will lose his job. It's time. It will only happen if we all get involved. I was in Rapid City the other day, and a gentleman who's about my age, he's 57, 58 years old. He says, you know what, I'm comfortable. Life is good. I would love to retire, but he says, I can't do that to my kids. He said, I got to be involved. I have to commit. I have to commit whatever I can, whether it be my time, whether it be my financial resources, but I cannot walk away from the dangers that we see in this country today. This is truly a matter of our country surviving. I think that's a message that the rest of us have to heed. This is not the time to walk away. It's not the time to say, gee, I think I'll watch the news. This is where you got to get involved. Whether it be involved in actively working to help elect the candidates, whether it be contributing to the candidacies of those guys who understand it, those ladies and gentlemen that clearly represent the core, basic, common sense principles that we find throughout South Dakota. Whatever it is, please. Make a commitment tonight that you're not going to take it anymore, that you're going to stand up and that you're going to get involved and you're going to ask for ways in which you can be involved and you're going to feel good about helping to save this country from the type of future that some of those who control Washington, D.C. right now, whether it be the Senate Democrats or the president who controls the White House today. These people may very well feel good about what they're doing, but ladies and gentlemen, they are leading down a path that we cannot get away from unless we stop them, and that is our job, and that is our mission. Please, ladies and gentlemen, get involved. There's a group of us that already have, and they have forever. I met a lot of them. Those are the veterans. Think about this for a second. They have given everything already for this country. We owe it to them if for nobody else. We owe it to our kids if for nobody else to be involved right now. I had a chance to meet a lot of them. We did it at honor flights for World War II veterans who came in and went to D.C. And I know before Governor Dugard would be there and I would be there when I was governor, and we would think, okay, these guys are 85, 86, 90, 91, 92 years old, and they'd be getting ready to head for Washington, D.C., and the flight would leave at 7 o'clock, and so we planned to get there to say hello to them and to visit with them, and we'd show up at 5 o'clock, and they'd beat us there. They'd be all ready to go. They'd be eating pheasant sandwiches provided by folks from Aberdeen. They'd be telling us stories about what they used to do and whether or not the girls were still there at the end of the train rides. And they'd talk about the folks that they lost. But they were so proud of what they had accomplished. They were truly the greatest generation. We saw again with the Korean War veterans when we dedicated that memorial. These gentlemen who stood the test of time. These courageous people who went in and fought for their country because the leaders of our country said it's necessary to stop the spread of communism. And then there was the Vietnam War Memorial with veterans who were there who had come back to no welcome and simply come home. And I saw the tears on the faces of not just those veterans, but on their families who said, at long last, they can be proud, they can be recognized, they can share with their brothers the heartache that they've had since the end of the Vietnam War. And then, as governor, I remember going to one activation ceremony after another as this new generation of young men and women took their turns manning the posts. They'd head out, they'd leave home for between a year and 15 months at a time, say goodbye to moms and dads and grandmas and grandpas, aunts and uncles, and girlfriends and wives and husbands and kids. And there was a lot of pain. But they did it not because of the pay. They did it not for fame. They did it because they felt that they had a commitment to this country. And they fulfilled it, time and again. We saw them when they came home on leave. We saw it when they came home to welcome homes from this majority of people who would show up in every small town to say thank you. We saw it at the funerals when people were condoling the relatives that were there. They deserve our commitment that if they can give all, that we most certainly can commit to be involved in the governance of this country, to spend the time to get involved, to continue it on and pass it on to the next generation. Because, ladies and gentlemen, this truly is the greatest country in the world. And I think we better pass it on that way to the next generation. And I think tonight is when we want to start that commitment. So, thank you for taking the commitment. Thank you for being here. And thank you for what I'm sure you will do in the future, which is to stand up and say, I'm mad as hell and I ain't going to take it no more, and we're going to fight like heck to bring true conservatives to Washington, D.C., to keep them here at the state level, to keep our government financially sound, and to keep our freedoms safe and sacred for the next generation. Thank you.